Hi everyone, so happy you took the time again to come over and watch a new video from Dyanne, and my name is Janny. Here on this channel you will find DIYs, shop with me, decorate with me and our home tours. If you like this content, we hope of course you will consider subscribing to the Dyanne and my channel and welcome you to our family. Of course, like I always say, enough talking, let's see what Dyanne and I are up to. You see what we will use for this DIY, and we only need a couple of things. The main tool we need is our hammer. We need some two little planks of wood, and I use some pellet wood, and this one is for free. I use some wool, and of course I use a little bit of the thicker one, but you can use also some twine. And you see we need some little pins and nails, so a couple of them. And you see here my inspiration piece is this Christmas tree, and he is $65, so that's a lot for a simple Christmas tree. So you see right now what I will make of mine. And here you see our pieces of scrap wood. What I'm going to do, we are going to glue them together. Of course, I have already my plastic gloves on because I don't want to be stuck on the wood in a moment, because I'm going to use my glue, which is drying in seconds. At least that's what they say. Most of the time it's taking a little bit longer. But you see, I'm just going to do on the sides, I'm going to do my glue, because I want to be sure that it doesn't fall off when we are going to put the nails on. So I am going to put these two together. And of course I'm going to do it sideways, or else I have my table totally under the glue. So I'm going to wait a couple of seconds and then we're going to do the next step. So our next step will be, I am taking my lineal, I don't know how you call it in English, a measurement at least. And I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw a Christmas tree on top of here. So I'm going to make a little stem, of course a little bit this way and this one this way, and then I'm going to draw one line over here. It's a very easy Christmas tree, but you can make the Christmas tree the way you want it, because this for me is just the easiest way. And I'm just going to move a little bit forwards and also do one over here, but a little bit smaller than the other one. So you see I have two stripes, and I'm going to do one over here. And I'm just eyeballing it a little bit, and later on I will finish it off a little bit better. And I want my Christmas tree to be on top of here. So this is the way what we're going to do. I'm going to do a line over here, a line over here, then we're going to do a line over here and here. So I will finish it and then I show you the drawing I made. So here you see how my tree turned out, and you see already he is in 3 layers. I have one stem, I have 3 layers of tree. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take some nails, and you see already I use small nails, and I'm going to place one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here. You can do them anywhere you like, but you have to make sure that you get the shape of the tree. I will nail them in, because or else you will be so annoyed from the noise. So I will hammer the nails in, and then I show you where I put them. And here you see where I did my nails. And you see already I did one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here to make the stamp in a square. Then I have one over here, one over here, one over here, one over here, and one over here, and one over here. So here is two next to each other. So you can get a little bit of the layer you got here. I have 2 over here and 2 over here, and one of course on top of it. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take my wool, and now I'm going to try to get the shape of a Christmas tree. So, but this is my first time also. We will see how it will turn out. So you see, I will show you how furry my wool is. I will, of course, I always have to try to find the beginning. But this is always a task to find the beginning of your string. So I'm going to do my best before I show you, because it's one big mess. So you see, I did find the beginning of my of my wool. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do on the underside of my stand, I'm going to make a knot. So I will am sure that he doesn't go anywhere. And I'm squeezing it very hard. And of course, what I'm going to do, just cut this little piece off. And now you see, we have already the start of our making our tree. I'm making the stem of my tree also in the black color. But if you want to have it in a brown color, then you have to use two colors, the brown and the black, or maybe you want them green, it's also fine. So I'm going to make first my little square, just turning around on your nail. Just you go this way by your nail, turn it around once again, and just do it this way also. Now you can do, if you want, if you like this a little bit better, you make a square, but if you can also make a cross from one over here. I'm going to do a cross also because I want to have this whole square in the black color. So I'm going to do it this way. And you see already my square is already almost in the black color. So you see, I already have my little square. But I'm going to do now, I'm going over to this side, just make a little turn over here, and I'm going to go over here. So, and now we are going to make our tree in the for first. So we're going to upstairs, and we're going to turn it around once on one nail, then the other nail, and also make this turn, and then we are going to go up to the other nail and do the same like we did under it. One turn around, also do one turn over here, and now we're going to the top and also turn it around, go down, turn around one nail. But there's no rhyme or reason, you can do whatever you think it's right, just as you get your shape of your tree. And I'm going to do this also. And you see already we almost have our Christmas tree. And I have to go over here and make one nail. So I show you now a little bit how he for now is turned out. But of course I'm going to work so far that I have everything in the black color. So, and this is what you get if you are just going to turn it this way. But of course it helps because I have a very wool. But if you have a twine, it's I think a little bit more difficult to get everything. What you can do is just use around the picture of your tree a little bit more nails, so it's a little bit better to work with and to turn your turns, because I have my fur, it's a little bit easier to do. So what I'm going to do right now is just going to wax my wood in the a little bit of the brown color, and of course you can distress it also in the white color, just whatever you think is right. And then we are going to make a little tag for on top of our Christmas tree. So you see, this is what I use. Of course, for you, it's probably right now upside down, because but it's just a house brand of a store here in the Netherlands. But it's just furniture wax you use for your furniture. And of course, you can stain it also. And like I said, you can also do it in the white color if you like that a little bit more. I love a little bit more of the rustic. And I'm just going to give it a little bit. You see already how it's changing a lot when you do only a little bit of furniture wax on it. I will do the rest and then I show you how it's turned out. So you see how he is totally in the furniturettes, and I think he looks already so nice, but of course we're still missing a little tag over here. You don't have to do it. You can do also a little pieces of thread also in another color this way, so you get a little bit more like a banner around your garland around your tree. You can do it this way. You can do anything you like, but I'm going to look for if I like it to have a little tag over here which says probably winter spruce, but we have to see. I will go to my computer and then I show you which picture I chose, of which picture I made. So this is the little sign I chose for. I made just simple winter spruce. Of course, you can find this also in our free printables. They are always in our description box, so go check it out if you want to use it for your own. Of course, I will cut it out and I have some piece of cardboard and I will do the same measurement as my little sign. I'm going to Mod Podge it later on top of it, but first I'm going to do some fabric over it. So you see already, this is the little tag I will use. Of course, I will do it a little bit sideways on top of our tree. I will show it to you a little bit this way. It's a little bit better to see. So, and what I'm going to do, because I'm still debating if I am doing a little bit of rope also on top of our Christmas tree, but we see that later. For now, we are going to do this piece of cardboard with some fabric, and I have the darker green fabric because this is what I will use after the Christmas season. So I'm going to take a piece of fabric and I'm going to fold our piece of cardboard inside of here. And you see already, this is a little bit how it will turn out. So you see already I have my piece of cardboard inside of a little piece of green fabric, and you can use any ribbon and any color you like. What I did do, I did cut out a little one of the signs, of little signs, and I'm going to Mod Podge it on top of the fabric. I never Mod Podged on fabric, so we will see how this will turn out. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We will see. It's always an experiment, like I always say. So we are going to Mod Podge this one, and then we are going to lay it on top of our fabric. And we will see how this will turn out, because I really have no idea how the Mod Podge is working on top of fabric. But if you don't try it, you never know. So this is how he turned out. And of course, I know, like I said, I know he's upside down, but in real, he will be okay. When I do the result, you will see the right side. And here you see how he turned out. And of course, you say later on the reveal from all my DIYs. But for now, of course, I have to think about it if I do a little bow on top of it. But you will see that at the end. You see what we will use for the next DIY, and you see here I am using a simple item. This is what you use for isolating the frames from your heater, so it is better isolated. So, but of course a lot of people always also use swimming noodles, if I am saying it correct. We need some wooden branches you find outside from the trees. I am needing some end pieces with some wooden slices. I always order them online from AliExpress in different sizes, and they are for end pieces. We need some white chalk paint and of course the brown chalk paint to distress it later on, and maybe something a little bit of the black distressing. But this is what we need for this simple DIY, and what we're going to make. I show you now my inspiration piece. These are birch logs, if I am correct, and I'm speaking it correct. So this is what I'm going to try to make, but in an easy way. You see here I did measure them out, and I did 2 pieces of 30 centimeters. 2 from the 20 and 2 of the 10, but you can make any size you like. Before I'm going to paint them in the white color, I'm going to take one of the branches and I'm going to take little pieces of this one and this one, and I show you now. I'm going to push them inside of this foam. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. So I will do one in front of you. I just take my foam and I just have a little, yeah, you call it a saté prikker. At least it is a wooden, you use it where you can do meat on top of it or your marshmallows. I don't, I don't know how you call it. This, I'm going to take a little piece of this wood and I'm going to measure out a little bit over here. So it's that I'm going to have it over here. So I'm just going to make a little hole over here so I can push in my little, you see, I'm just going to make a little hole and then I'm going to push my little branch inside of here. And now I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to glue this on top of our branch. So it gives a little bit more natural feeling when you're going to paint it. You see what I did, I just took some branches and I just put them inside of the foam. And what I did also is just when you glue it, just make with your glue gun, just make little threads with and let them dry, so it gives a little bit more of a structure on top of your little foam. So when you paint it, it looks a little bit more like a real branch. So I will do all of them and then I show you how we're going to paint it. So you see already they are all look a little bit strange, but what I'm going to do right now, I'm just taking one of the slices because here we have an opening. I'm going to glue this on top of here so we get a nice closed opening. So it's very easy, just do some simple glue on top of here. It doesn't matter if you use a little bit too much, because how more your little piece is distressed, so more like he's looking. So you see, this is how it turned out. I'm going to do all of them and then we're going to paint it. You see all 6 of them are finished, and you see they all have nice ends and they have their glue on top of it, some little pieces of branch. What I'm going to do right now, just take some white chalk paint, we give it a base of white. So just paint over everything and you will see already you get a nice layer of yeah, I think it looks already a little bit more like a little branch of a little log. I have to say it right. I'm sorry, my English. It looks a little bit like a bird's log. So I will paint all of them and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. And here you see already the result with one coat of the white chalk paint. And of course I showed you a little bit better that you see some structure on top of it. And the little ends are this way. And of course it already looks a little bit distressed. Of course, if you like it, do a second coat. But I like a little bit of the darker color shining through. But if you like a little bit wider, go ahead. What I'm going to do right now is just take a little bit of the black chalk paint. You see, I am going to use this way. I'm going to use some simple black chalk paint, and I'm going over the branches. We did one branch in this way and one branch in this way, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a shadow. I will do it this way over the branch so you get a little bit darker. So only the branches I am doing. So just give it a little bit of the black color you see here. And this is what I'm going to do with all 6 of them, and then we're going to distress it with the brown. So you see already, this is with the black touch of it. And of course, I did also the end a little bit with the black, so it looks a little bit more like dead wood. What I'm going to do right now is just take a little bit of the darker brown. Sorry, this is a little bit of a mess with the black. Just use a little bit of the brown color and just make some little circles around your foam. Of course, because it's still a foam, just make a little rings around it so it looks a little bit more like a tree, and a little bit it's no rhyme or reason, just do whatever you think it's fitting for your branch, because every piece you make is of course different. I am doing it this way, but maybe you also can use the glue from your glue gun to make circles around it. So just do a little bit what you think is right. So I'm going to finish this all 6 of them, and then I'm going to show you, just we do a little ribbon around it, and then it will be a nice decor piece. So you see, I did also now the brown on it, and I think they are looking quite nice because from over here, I don't know if you see it on camera, but they look very real. What I'm going to do, of course, I'm going to make from each length, I will do one of them, and I'm going to do this, stack them together. And now we're going to do a little ribbon over it, and then you will see the end result. And here you see the finished result of our DIYs. And you see here, I am so happy how my tree turned out. And of course, you can give him any color you like, and only with some free wood, some nails, and of course a little bit wool or twine, just what you want to use. And I am really happy how he turned out. And of course our birch logs, if I am saying it correct. You see here I did make 2 sets of it, and I am really happy how they turned out. I hope you give it a try. You will see how easy it is, and it's so fitting in any decor. You can use it in farmhouse decor, rustic decor. You can use it in any decor you like. I am really happy how he turned out. And before we go further to our next DIY, I have to tell you that this video is also part of a collab we are hosting together with the beautiful Kiki from Kiki's DIY. We are hosting this collab every month, and it's called the High End for Cheap Collab. This month, for the month of December, are joining us the beautiful Liz from Liz Moore, Decor and Decor, and the beautiful Yelena from Blondie Next Door, the beautiful Maria from Archie Cupcake, and of course, not least, Sonia from Domestic Diva DIY. And of course, I will place a link down below for all these beautiful ladies, so go check it out. And you find there also above in their description box, you will find the playlist with tons of beautiful inspiration for you to find, so go check it out. And for now, enough talking, let's jump into our next DIY.
Hey everyone, it's Dyanne here. Today I'm going to recreate something from Kirkland's. Unfortunately, Kirkland's isn't available here in the Netherlands. Neither is the website, so I have to show you a Google image with my mobile phone. Hope you can see it well. It is this sign, Warm Winter Wishes, and you can see it here that it costs nearly $17 US. But I can think that I can do it for a little bit of a cheaper price. So yeah, maybe mine will turn out a little bit smaller, but we're going to give it a shot. Here we go, recreating this Kirkland's Warm Wishes plaque. I start off with this canvas, just a square one. This comes in a package of 2, and I bought it at the Action, which is similar to Dollar Tree in the United States. This one was, well, let's say €1. And the next thing I need, beeswax, which I already had at home, so I'm not going to calculate a price for that. What I want to do, first there is a wooden frame here, oops, on the back side of the canvas, you can see it here. I'm going to cut around here, so that I can remove the frame, but I still can keep the canvas itself, because we're going to reuse that. So let's give it a shot. I'll be using this sharp knife, and I carefully start cutting around here. You might need to cut several times, because not the first time it won't cut completely through, because the paint that they use for this canvas and the canvas itself as well is quite stiff. So just cut out, and then you can easily remove, well, this part of the canvas. Here we go. Simply flip it upside down. Oh, this part is still stuck. Carefully tear it off. You keep this one, storage for later. And here we have the frame. Still a little edge to remove here. And there we go. Now, the next step is putting beeswax upon the frame to give it a nice vintage finish. Using beeswax is actually pretty easy. I always use the same brush, because you might see it upon my hand here. It quite starts messing up the color of the brush that you're using. So I'm keeping one for the beeswax job. This stuff smells, so ventilate your room well while using it. And it has to dry for, I think, at least an hour, because it really soaks up in the paint. And yeah, It just simply needs to dry. Okay, the photo frame is dry and now I want to fill it up, and therefore I printed this. This is all free from the internet. The background was a free printable. Then I just draw a white circle and took also this free image from the internet as well. And I made it in Photoshop into one complete picture, because this is a layer, the white circle is a layer, and the text is a layer. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out the whole thing. But first I want to use or glue it upon the canvas, because I still need to make the greenery, and if I only glue the greenery to the paper, then the paper isn't strong enough. So here we go. Let's take out this thing here. And in my crafting supply box I still have glue. I'm going to use that combined with a brush, which I have here. So I'm going to shake the glue a little bit. This is, by the way, fake Mod Podge from Action. 17 times cheaper than real Mod Podge here in the Netherlands. I just keep saying it. Okay, now just throw a lot of glue on the canvas, because why? The canvas soaks up this glue super well. Okay. Then you take your brush and then you can start just brushing it out. Just like so. Don't forget to do the edges really well. Most of the times people concentrate upon the center, but the edges are more important if you ask me, because that is where it sticks for the best. Well, I've applied quite the layer, as I said it myself, but that isn't a bad thing. Okay, there we go. Now I'll take the print. Let me stand up for this job. And just start putting it in position. I think here is good. Now you take a clean, dry is important, clean as well, brush, and you start, well, I always do it like this. I'm going to make myself a cross. Do not touch the glued part. Don't press with your fingers, just hold it slightly. Once you made the cross like so, I'm going to start brushing from the inside out. And why I do this? Simply to remove air bubbles. And by doing this, you create a print that is glued superb to the background. So there we go. If I want to attach it to the frame, just put a lot of glue here on the back side of the frame. And then just simple press the frame upon the paper. So just like this. Brush it out. It might be thick, that isn't a big thing. I'm always dabbing upon wood, because then I have the idea that the glue attaches better to the surface, but that is just me, I suppose. Ooh. Dripping glue there. Here needs to be some more. Some more here. Okay, let's take this one out. Put this one back in. And then stand up again. Press it up in the right place. Can still move around if necessary, before completely pressing it. I think we're there in this way. I'm going to leave it dry, let it dry. Okay, I just put my toolbox upon this whole thing. Now it's time to remove the canvas around edges, simply by using scissors and cutting it off. Okay, time to finish this DIY up. And therefore I'm going to use some green. I'm just using hot glue here, only on the beginning and on the end of the tip, so that I can carefully place them like this. I think I'm first going to start only at the bottom, and then see how many of the needle greenery I need around, and then I can always glue them at the top. Okay, I'm ready. Do you all want to see how it turned out? Here we go. Like this. To be honest, it looks much more high-end than I expected it to be when I first had this in mind. But I'm super happy with also how the greenery stays in place. What I did, I will explain because I couldn't film it. It was in the kitchen and I didn't have enough space to film there because that's the only part in my house where I have enough length for the power cord to reach my project. So that's why I often glue in the kitchen. What I first did, I just put a dot of glue under the beginning of the greenery branch, and then I put it here, 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 just laid them first only with their back parts in the glue, and then I slightly put some glue here around the white ring, and just with a pair of scissors I just gently pressed every part in, let it dry because otherwise it flips back and then your project is ruined. And after everything was done, I just removed the spidery webs from the glue gun, and then you get this result. Let us know in the comment section what you think of this, dupe for, well, let's say $5 compared to 65. Was it 65? I believe it was 65. Or it was 75. I don't know. One of both was the original Kirkland's price, and this is my dupe. It is, of course, not exactly the same, but yeah, the idea is the same, and I hope that you like what we made today.
So this was it already for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching, and of course, if you like this content, I hope you will consider subscribing to the Janny and my channel. Click the bell so you will be notified every time we upload a new video. Enough talking. We wish you all a beautiful, beautiful day. Stay safe, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we hope to see you in our next video. Love from Dyanne and me. Bye everyone.